The Warriors aren't guaranteed a playoff spot this year, but they're facing the pressure of the play-in. And when it comes to pressure, these guys are specialists. We've seen before what they're capable of. But what do they really need to dominate every opponent they encounter? After watching all the games from the last month, I realized they only need one adjustment. That's right, one adjustment to clinch the title, as they already have the hardest part for a team to achieve. For instance, look at Draymond Green against Zion.
Quick move, Draymond, quick recovery. Zion's behind the play.
Right after, we have Klay Thompson returning to his best form, the one that always shows up in the playoffs.
Klay rocks into a three. Hey, Chase Sanders back in it.
And just when it seems like Curry has nothing left to show, he, at 36 years old, activates playoff mode.
Steph driving, in, out, step back, three, good. That's a mean step back.
If you saw that game against the Pelicans, you know the Warriors ended up losing. But as I mentioned, they just need to make a small adjustment to succeed in the postseason. Reduce turnovers. With an average of 14.4 turnovers per game, if they can cut down on these mistakes, it's going to be tough to stop this team. But the play-in format can be tough, right? On one hand, the Warriors have the added pressure of winning to stay in the hunt. On the other, it's a golden opportunity to enter playoff mode early. Now, if there's one thing we know about this team, it's that challenges like this tend to unite and ignite a spark in the players. And in this context, every game is like a Game 7. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. This trio has been through every imaginable situation in the playoffs. They know that every possession counts, every defense can be decisive, every shot carries weight. So instead of seeing the play-in as an obstacle, they're viewing it as a springboard to glory. Adjustments are needed, no doubt. The team needs to cut down on turnovers, something they must already be aware of. Reducing these errors will allow them to maintain control of the game and dictate the pace, something vital in such tightly contested matchups. And let's not forget, when the Warriors control the game, they're not just a tough team to beat, they're practically unbeatable. At the end of the day, the play-in isn't just a test for the Warriors, it's a show of strength. They're showing they're ready for the challenge, and who knows, for another title. Just like last year, they have the Kings ahead of them. The Kings are a young and fast team, so the Warriors have to close the paint and force opponents into uncomfortable shots, something Green does like no one else. And speaking of offense, off-ball movement has to be synchronized. Constant motion, smart cuts, and the search for those openings that Steph and Klay know so well how to exploit. Communication needs to be crisp. Every signal has to be clear. If the ball is swinging, with Curry and Thompson creating space with their long-range threats, the Kings will have to work twice as hard on defense. But let's go further, looking at a potential matchup with the Lakers or Pelicans. Here, the Warriors' experience counts. Against the Lakers, it's a matter of keeping the defense solid and avoiding unnecessary fouls. Against the Pelicans, perimeter defense will be crucial, as we know they can heat up from three. What can't happen is letting the game turn into a shootout. Control is the order of the day. The Warriors team knows how to accelerate, but also knows when to slow things down and cool off the game. Tactics aside, the attitude has to be that of a team already in the playoffs. It's this energy, this confidence, that can turn the play-in into just a warm-up for the real challenges to come. After all, who would want to face a team that's already playing with finals-level intensity since the play-in? In any scenario, success in the play-in won't be measured only by wins, but by the ability to grow with each game, adjusting, evolving. Because when the Warriors start clicking, the NBA knows they become frightening. In the heat of the play-in, the spotlight often focuses on the veterans, but don't sleep on the Warriors' rookies. Jonathan Kuminga, with his explosiveness and athleticism, Jackson Davis, with that youthful energy and hunger for baskets, Brandon Podziemski, standing out with his efficient scoring ability, and Moses Moody, known for his defensive tenacity and long-range shooting, could well be the surprise factors that tip the scales. Kuminga has a remarkable ability to elevate his game in critical moments, something we've seen throughout the season. He could be that ace up the sleeve that, if activated at the right time, changes the course of a game. And Jackson Davis? He's hard work personified. The guy who will go after every rebound like it's the last one and intimidate on defense. Podziemski, on the other hand, brings a new dimension to the outside game, with his precision in shooting, while Moody is capable of disrupting the opponent's offensive plans with his defensive presence. The truth is, the pressure of the play-in has a unique flavor, and these youngsters are ready to prove they have what it takes. If they can keep their heads cool and the game aggressive, we'll see opponents wondering where that extra energy came from. With Kuminga, Jackson Davis, Podziemski, and Moody playing at their best, the Warriors have more than just a chance in the play-in. They have a compelling argument that they can go far. The team is full of young talents that can surprise, reinforcing the idea that youth can be both vibrant and decisive in critical moments. And to go far, they can't forget one thing: defense. It wins championships, and in play-in games, every defensive mistake can cost the season. The Warriors know that every steal and every block are small victories that make up the big triumph. It's no wonder that teams with an ironclad defense often come out on top in elimination games. In this phase, where tension is palpable and errors are less forgivable, the Warriors need to anchor their play-in journey in solid defense. With Green commanding the defensive scheme, Wiggins bringing his usual dedication, and Jackson Davis improving his defense game after game, they have the ingredients to build a wall against opposing attacks. So, what we expect to see is a Golden State team converting defense into offense, using every interception and defensive rebound as fuel for the offensive machine. Fans are accustomed to the brilliance of the Warriors' offense, but it's defensive consistency that could be the key to unlocking the next phase of the playoffs. And that key is ready to turn. Now, speaking of adaptability, that's one of the Warriors' trademarks, isn't it? What we have here is a roster that doesn't know just one way to play. This tactical flexibility will be vital in the play-in, where each opponent may require a different style of play. Against a team that favors attacking in the paint, the Warriors can rely on the physical presence of players like Jackson Davis and the defensive agility of Green. And if the game calls for more perimeter play, then we have Thompson and Curry, who need no introduction. And let's not forget the contribution that can come from the bench. The depth of the Warriors roster allows them to adjust their game plan in real time, adapting to the challenges that arise from game to game. And in the play-in, where you might be facing a heavy, physical style of play one day and a perimeter battle the next, this ability to shapeshift could be what puts the Warriors on the right path for another deep playoff run. If the Warriors want to dominate in the play-in, they have to treat every possession with respect, as if it were a trophy. Turnovers? They need to be drastically and immediately cut down. The average of 14.4 per game? It has to come down. That's essential. In elimination games, turnovers are like opening the doors for the opponent to party in your house. What really makes the difference here is the value each player places on the ball. Every pass has to be precise, every decision has to be calculated. It's this discipline that will leave the opponent with no easy scoring opportunities. And furthermore, it keeps the pace of the game under the Warriors' control, which is where they shine. When the Warriors minimize errors, they not only preserve the score, but also apply psychological pressure on the other team, which begins to realize that it won't have an easy time. And that's how a champion plays, with confidence, precision, and the fewest errors possible. This will be crucial for the Warriors to advance in the play-in. The Warriors finished 10th in the West, even with a better team than last year. But this underdog position could be just the fuel they need. Historically, when they're backed into a corner, that's when they show their true strength. There's something energizing about proving doubts wrong, especially for a team that has tasted success so many times. This status can really take the pressure off of having to present themselves as favorites and allow them to play with more freedom, exploring the potential of everyone, especially the younger players. And interestingly, this could confuse opponents who expect to face a demoralized team and instead encounter a united, aggressive group ready to challenge all predictions. It's in this us against the world mentality that the team can shield itself from external criticism and focus entirely on what happens on the court. The Warriors know how to channel that energy into the game, turning every challenge into an opportunity to demonstrate resilience and determination. When they start defying expectations, they not only reinforce internal confidence, but also recapture the imagination of their fans and potentially intimidate their opponents. So, this feeling of defying the odds isn't just a cliche, It's a powerful psychological tool that the Warriors are more than capable of using to propel a surprising playoff run. And if there's one team in the NBA that can turn a game or a series around with the right mindset, it's the Warriors. So, do you think the Warriors have what it takes to surprise in the play-in and advance in the playoffs? Leave your comment below. Let's continue this conversation. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our latest video, where I talked about why the Warriors are still intimidating. See you there.